KOFO 1220 and 103.7 FM. KOFO, your sports source for East Central Kansas, welcomes you to the Pizza Time Hoop Talk Show on 103.7 FM, 1220, and KOFO.com. We invite you to join us live at Pizza Time in downtown Ottawa for food and drink specials during the show as we talk OU Braves and Lady Braves basketball with head coaches Aaron Siebenthal and Bruce Tate. Pizza Time Hoop Talk is brought to you by Ottawa Family Physicians, Pizza Time, Bob Allen Ford, and Ottawa University. Now, with this edition of Pizza Time Hoop Talk, here's KOFO's Bob Johnson.
Welcome into Pizza Time and the Hoop Talk Show here on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO. I am Bob Johnson as we get ready for another edition of the Hoop Talk Coaches Show. And the Braves coming off of a loss last night, unfortunately, both the men and the women. But joining us to talk about the game is going to be head coach Aaron Siebenthal. Coach, welcome into the Hoop Talk Pizza Time Coaches Show.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having us, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. It's been a while, and it's good to see you again.
Yep, yeah, you as well.
Yeah, you act excited. Act excited to be here and be around me, so and that'll be part of the fun of this episode here tonight. Let's see if we can make Coach Sieb crack under pressure or make him laugh out loud, one of the two. Boy, the holiday break came at a bad time for the team. And talking last week with Hollis Mitchell and Titus Rice, they really would have liked to have been able to just play through. But it's been a slow start to the second half for Ottawa. And last night, again, it was a slow start in the first half of the ball game, and that seemed to be really what the downfall last night was.
Yeah, we played really, really well at Southwestern, and it's one of those games where you play at a high level against a good team, and you just come up a point or two short, one possession short, and I think that's kind of just lingered over our heads. We came out and played really well after that in the first 15 minutes against Tabor and had a 17-point lead and 12-point halftime lead. And we just, we're not very mentally tough, and we're letting one loss turn into 2 and 3, and our guys got to figure out a way to learn from those losses and those experiences, but not carry them over into other games. And I put something out on the Twitters the other day that if we'll work as hard as we are talented, we're unstoppable, because we're a very talented basketball team. But it doesn't matter because we aren't playing together, and we're not tough. So we got to be tougher.
What would you say in the first half of the season when you reeled off 6 in a row in conference just before the holiday break? What has been the difference from there to here besides mental toughness?
Physical toughness, and probably just a mindset that we're a better team and we need to impose our will on teams. We were just playing at a high level, and we kind of had a roll going. I don't know if there's anything to pinpoint. Last night was probably the most disappointing thing for me was we got killed on the boards, and we're one of the top 10 rebounding teams in the country, and we got destroyed on the board. So we need to get back to trying to guard a little bit. We're never going to be a great defensive team. We got to try and be a good defensive team, and we got to continue to own the glass.
Yeah, you mentioned that. There's a 13 rebound difference between Friends and Ottawa. One of the other things, besides shooting, three-point shooting was not very good for the team, and the team has usually been a good three-point shooting ball club.
Well, we're also a really good free throw shooting team, and Friends' free throw defense was tremendous. So we got to figure out a way, and a lot of that is just, I hate to be cliche and go back to it, but mental toughness carries over to your energy and to executing and making shots. And when we have energy, we make shots. When we don't have energy, we don't make shots. And we're the team that is the ultimate definition of letting what happens on the offensive end dictate your defense, and it's got to be the other way around.
That's something that to me I guess has been, as you mentioned, maybe a little bit of a disappointment coming out here. But one of the things I really liked about this team and the opportunities that I had been able to see them was it felt like, as opposed to years past, that there was a way that they would impose their will. There seemed like in years past the teams would just go out there, and as soon as something didn't go right, it was they kind of will. This year, it really kind of felt differently up until here recently.
Yeah, I think it was different, and I don't know, again, if it was the Southwestern game where I think it's just one of the few times that this group and as a group and individuals has really rolled it out there and played really well and not gotten the result they wanted. And so I think that's hard for young people to understand, that sometimes you play really, really well and you don't win. And, you know, in their minds, well, if we play harder and if we play well, we should win. And, well, we didn't. And so we gotta try and do better at each game. And I think they just gotta get over that tough loss and turn it around.
And unfortunately, as you mentioned, 3 straight losses in conference coming in here. And you mentioned Southwestern a week ago, where it was it came down to the final few possessions. Tabor game was close and just not able to pull through. What can this team do right now to try to rebuild that confidence heading into the rest of the games for this year?
I mean, the only thing I know what to do is just to try and work harder. And I mean, both those games, the Tabor and Southwestern game, were 1-possession games. So where can we steal another possession or 2 or 3? Well, we can obviously defensively. We can be better defensively. We can continue to be better on the boards. We can 1 or 2 less turnovers. I mean, there's some pretty easy math there, that if you have 1 more possession or 2 more possessions and 1 or 2 less turnovers, and you're shooting 40%, you're going to get 5 points. So, that's the difference in those 2 games. And then last night was just kind of a calamity of errors. Well, there's no energy, no effort, no attention to detail. And when you throw those things together against a good team with the leading scorer in the country, you're probably not going to win.
Well, and really another part that makes it tough is the home games are really beginning to dwindle down here. You've had, well, this will be coming up will be the 3rd straight home game, and then next week you'll have the 4th with Kansas Wesleyan, and then you're pretty much done with except for a sprinkling here or there. And this is one of those conferences that you've definitely got to defend your home court.
Yeah, we do, and quite frankly, since I've been the head coach, we haven't been good at that. So we need to put a better product on the floor so we can get. I mean, we're playing in our own gym, but it's not quite the home court it needs to be yet. So and for it to be the home court we need with our student support, we have a lot of students there. They're just kind of all interspersed out throughout the crowd. But for us to have a good crowd and have good student support, we got to put a better product on the court on a continual basis. So hopefully, those guys won't give up on us, our students. Hopefully they'll keep continuing to show up, and we're going to have a lot of dunks in the game, so we got that going for us. So that's at least exciting. But the other team's going to score more points than us right now. So
you bring up the dunks. Is this one of those things where maybe you, not that you want to pull off of that intensity, but maybe, hey, let's not worry about the dunks as much, but maybe put more emphasis in another area, and forget the theatrics. Let's pick up our pace defensively. Let's do this or that.
I would like to dunk it a lot and play better defense, so I want to ask for both of those things. Dunks usually go in, so when you're having a tough time scoring, dunks are a good thing. We just have to find a way to act like it's fun to play basketball, and it's fun to just try really hard and see what happens. And I think we just got to get that mindset back.
These words are some of the words that I talked last week with the fellas. That one of the things that I felt like was this team was having fun. That it wasn't a job to them or something they got to go out and do. That they were really enjoying being out there, and it just seems like that they haven't recaptured that yet.
Yeah, it's fun to win. It's fun to make shots. I mean, that's all fun. But the Friends game last night was like 8-8 for like at the 10-minute mark of the first half. It was ugly basketball. But I was having a good time with it. It was, heck, we're right in the game, and it's ugly. So if it's going to be ugly, let's play ugly, and let's find a way to win ugly. So we again just get focused to doing the little things, attention to detail, and just get our mindset back that we're a good basketball team.
Isaiah Palmer last night had a pretty good game for you guys, 25 points. He was 10 of 18 from the floor and 5 of 8 from the free throw line. Also had 13 rebounds on the night. So you got to be happy with that performance.
Yeah, Isaiah's he's a really good player. He's a transfer, so it always takes transfers a little longer to kind of get it figured out. He's kind of bounced around from a 3 spot to a 4 spot. So but he's another guy. I mean, he's doing a lot of good things, but he's got to be better defensively as well. So, no, Isaiah's a really good player. I mean, we got 5 guys in double figures. I mean, we've got plenty of talent. That's not an issue. So, I don't know if you're going to bring him up, but I will. His stats aren't nearly as impressive as Isaiah's, but Jake Hansen played harder than anybody's played for us in a long time, at least the last 2 games. Jake Hansen played his tail off. So, Jake did a really good job with that, and if we can have all of our guys play as hard as Jake did last night, we got a chance to be really scary.
Is something like that, you mentioned Jake, is there something like that will catch on with the team? Can that be contagious?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because not only was Jake playing hard, but one reason it looked like he was playing so hard is because no one else was playing hard. He stuck out like a sore thumb. So, we got to get more guys bought in. Jake's going to start on Saturday. So, I mean, we're trying to make the direct correlation to our guys. Look, you play this hard, you're going to get rewarded. And he's going to get rewarded with starting in some more minutes. So, Jake's a great young man, a great student. Had an awful injury last year that put him out for, an entire calendar year. And he can really shoot the ball, but he's just struggled, shaking off that rust. So he's found a way to contribute by just playing hard, rebounding, and doing all the little things. So really proud of that young man.
And you mentioned Jake getting a start on Saturday. Have you talked with your team, or is this something that other starters may take a seat for other players to maybe try to not really spruce things up, but to send a message?
No, yeah, that's how we ended practice today. I don't care if you're a freshman, I don't care if you're a senior, I don't care if you're an all-conference guy, you're our leading scorer. If you're not going to play hard and represent us, then I'll find somebody else. So, that was exactly how we ended practice today. So we had a very spirited practice. There was at least 2 shoe changes. There was some blood. It was a pretty good practice. So. Hopefully the guys understand. And we practiced way harder today than we ever thought about playing last night against Friends.
We're going to take our first break of the evening right here. When we come back, we're going to talk about Saturday's matchup with Sterling. These 2 teams met in the first half of the season, and Ottawa University came away with a victory in that one back in November. So we're going to talk about the rematch when we come back. First to break, you're listening to the Pizza Time Hoop Talk Show here on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO.
The new Ottawa Care Clinic inside Cosentino's Price Chopper is there for you to treat minor illnesses such as flu and the common cold, sinus infections, ear infections, fever, ringworm, as well as minor injuries including abrasions or burns. No appointment is necessary to see one of the clinic's experienced and caring advanced registered nurse practitioners. The Ottawa Care Clinic inside Price Chopper, available now for your convenience. Call 785-214-4903.
What it means to be an OU Brave is to be yourself. What I've learned here is I've created memories with friends, and I was actually really comfortable being in my own skin here. Everybody has their own personality, and we're all unique here, just trying to live significant lives. And I think I'm going to leave here with an imprint that will last forever and that I can hold on to and look back at and laugh at and see that I not only learned something, but I created friendships and memories that will always stick with me. That's what it means to be brave, to be yourself.
Be a brave. Visit ottawa.edu.
When it's game time, it's pizza time. Fantastic food and a fabulous atmosphere, locally owned and operated. That's a nice thing about Pizza Time. They know what you want because they live here too. And they've been doing it right since Duke opened the doors in 1985. Bring all your friends because there's something on the menu for everyone. Wings, salads, sandwiches, desserts. You enjoy the games and the food. They'll do the dishes afterwards. Make game time Pizza Time. Then review them on Yelp. Find out more on Facebook or Twitter at Pizza Time Pub. 242-Time, Ottawa's Pizza Time.
And welcome back to the Pizza Time Hoop Talk Show, where everything is my fault, as we were discussing during the commercial break. And that's how it kind of goes sometimes when you're the host of a program. Isn't that right, Coach?
I don't know. I've never been a host of a program.
Well, you're missing out. Definitely missing out on the great things in life, like hosting your own program.
Well, if we keep playing that way, I might be in the job market, so we'll stay tuned.
Next season, Aaron Siebenthal hosts Hoop Talk here on 1220. No, I'm kidding.
That'd be awkward for the guy they hired to replace me.
But it would be Radio Gold.
True.
And that's what we're about, is Radio Gold. It's not awkward when I host the show, because sometimes I intentionally make it that way.
Like right now?
Right now, yeah, pretty much. And I'm glad that you picked up on that. So very perceptive on your part.
Yes.
Yes, I've missed you. I've missed all of you. I just want you to know that. And I'm being very serious about that. Well, Sterling comes to town on Saturday. They'll play the Lady Braves at 3. We'll have pregame for you just a little bit before that here on 1220 and 103.7 FM with the Wise Guys Construction Ottawa University Braves pregame show. And then the men follow at 5. And Sterling looking to get a little revenge after the defeat earlier on in the season. And what kind of lessons did you learn from that first matchup against Sterling?
They're a pretty different team right now. They're running a lot of zone. I learned that they have 2 freshman bigs that are pretty good. They're playing really a different team. Half the guys they're playing are different. So, I guess we learned a little bit about their personnel, knowing that their 2 freshman bigs are pretty good.
So with that being said, how does that change your preparation going into this now that in some ways you're almost taking on a different look?
Well, everybody in our conference has all of our game film, and they've watched us stare at a zone last couple of games and have no idea what to do. So we're going to see a lot of zone, and they're running a little bit of stuff differently offensively, but we're to the point where we are worrying way more about us than we are the other teams. Again, throwing out as many cliches as I can, but it's true. We've got to be better defensively and just be solid. So they don't do anything that we haven't seen before. So we just gotta play better and really assert ourselves inside.
You bring up the zone issue with your team. It's not like that they haven't played against zone teams before. What is it that's causing the issues right now taking on a zone team?
It's energy. I mean, if you don't have energy, you don't have confidence, then at some point in a zone, no matter how much you move the ball, no matter how much you make the zone move, you got to make a shot. And our guys that have been making shots this season are struggling right now, and it's they're all struggling collectively. So when we were on that 6-game win streak, we didn't have a game where everybody played well. We always had 1 or 2 guys struggle. We always had a couple guys step up, and other than really Isaiah stepping up last night, we didn't really have anybody that can shoot it from the outside step up. So we just gotta not worry about what defense they're in and worry about moving the ball and making the defense work, and we'll be fine. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what defense they play. We just gotta figure out a way to put the ball in the basket.
And with that being said, what is the best way to break a defense like that? Are there gaps that you can take advantage of?
Oh yeah, I mean everybody tries to get the ball in the high post. Everybody tries to get the ball to the short corner. The biggest thing with the zone is you got to make the zone move, and you got to make 2 guys on defense guard 1 guy on offense, and you do that by attacking the gaps. So if you continually attack a gap, make 2 guys play you, pass the ball, that guy does the same thing. Make 2 guys play you, pass the ball, eventually you're going to get a wide open shot. So we can't settle for easy shots. We've got to make the zone move, and then obviously a huge play against the zone is going to get an offensive rebound.
And with that being said, obviously the offensive board being important and making that zone move, in a game like that, you can't just chuck it up quickly. You've got to take as much time off that shot clock as possible to make it work for you.
Yeah, I just think time off the shot clock is not paramount. Getting a good shot is important. So typically that doesn't happen after 1 or 2 passes. So generally zone is, when a team plays zone, they're saying, you probably have better athletes than us. It's probably harder for us to guard you man on man. So we're going to play a zone. We're going to pack it in, and we're going to take our chances and play the percentages. And so what we got to do is make sure if they're playing the percentages, we're taking high percentage shots.
And as far as that goes, and that you're going to need your players down low to be physical in this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, they're both freshmen, but they're both good post players for Sterling, and so we've got to match that. they probably actually outplayed our bigs out there when we played them out there. We just made more shots. So, yeah, we've got to get the ball inside. And another way, a really good way to beat the zone is to beat it down the floor. You know, get a good rebound, get a good outlet, and push the ball and try and get some numbers and get an easy basket.
Well, obviously, we're not going to be talking about Lakers Showtime offense here from the 80s, but it is going to be paramount once to get that rebound, as you said, get the bodies down the floor as quickly as possible. And is that something that you've worked on with today's practice?
We've worked on it. We didn't work on it today's practice. Today was a defensive day after last night's game. So, but we've talked about it. I mean, guys just have to. It's weird to you would think teams want to get out and run, and you know, guys have to have the mentality that we can get to the boards and we can crash the offensive boards, you know, or we can get on the defensive boards and then we can still run, or we can still get back on defense, whatever it is. So we got to get guys that are going to be dedicated to trying to be really good on the boards and to run back on defense or to push the ball on offense.
Well, it's my turn to throw a cliche out. That's what all those sprints are for in practice.
Yeah. It's been a long time since we ran sprints. It's been like 10 days, so maybe we just need to do that a bunch tomorrow. I don't know. So no, we're in good enough shape, and we play enough guys. I mean, we're not killing anybody out there with their minutes. So again, it's just it's a mindset right now. It's what you know, who are we going to be? You know, what kind of team are we going to be? And unfortunately, our confidence got a little shook, but I really do believe this group will bounce back.
So for Coach Sieb to tell his team, here are my keys for the ball game against Sterling, what would they be?
Got to win the rebounding total. That's the first stat I look at every time I get a stat sheet, whether it's at halftime or after game, is what do we do rebounding wise. We got to move the basketball, so we can't try and figure out, you know, Sterling not only is going to play a lot of 2-3 zone, they're going to mix it up how they play the zone. It's going to, you know, there's a lot of little wrinkles they do. Can't worry about what kind of zone it is. We got to move the basketball and share the ball. Limit turnovers, they press a little bit out of it, so that's probably the next one. And then we have a saying called "be the bully." That's always our last key. Is we got to be the bully. We got to assert ourselves. We got to know that we're bigger, faster, stronger than those guys down low, and we got to assert ourselves that way.
Do you still give the championship belt to your top player in practice?
Yes.
Who currently is the reigning practice champion?
Well, now what we do is we do late game situations, and we do 3 late game situations every practice. And whichever person was on the winning team with 2 out of those 3 that kind of stood out, they have the belt. I think right now Devin Perez has the belt because he made a double clutch 3 at the buzzer to win one of those.
And Devin's a kid that's been with the program for a little bit, has played a lot of time on the JV squad, and has played pretty well coming off the bench at times.
Yeah, Devin's, you know, he's a second-year varsity guy for us, and he can really shoot it. He plays hard. Sometimes he's a little out of control when he plays hard, but he plays hard, which you'll always take that. Vocal guy, knows his role, has accepted his role, and been a good senior for us. So, you know, Devin's an important guy tomorrow because he can shoot the ball, and we're going to see a lot of zone. So expect good things from Devin.
Well, Coach, good luck with the game against Sterling on Saturday, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds good, Bob. Thanks for having me.
That is head coach Aaron Siebenthal for the Idle University Braves men's team, as they will take on Sterling on Saturday. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to discuss Lady Braves basketball with head coach Bruce Tate, as the ladies, a couple came up short last night, but you can see that there's some growth there with this young squad. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we come back. But first, the break. You're listening to the Pizza Time Hoop Talk Show here on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO.
When you order a pizza, you probably don't think about where your money goes, but maybe you should. Order from one of the big chains, and your money goes to fund corporate jets, million-dollar CEOs, huge advertising agencies, and celebrity spokespeople. Wouldn't it make more sense if your pizza money went into, I don't know, the quality of the pizza? Pizza Time doesn't have a jet, no army of lawyers, or Peyton Manning on the payroll. What they have is really good food and a guy named Duke who's been responsible for it all since 1985. Get more for your pizza dollar at Pizza Time in historic downtown Ottawa or at your door by calling 242-TIME.
I came here to run cross country, and it ended up being way different than I thought it was going to be. It's unlike anything I've ever been a part of to be on the team. Everyone is so completely different. There are people you never thought you'd be friends with, nothing like your outside friends, but somehow you all click to be the same and have the same interests, but yet completely different. Everyone's always there for you. It's not just about running. Friendships and families, like they're your siblings when you're away from home. That's what it means to be a part of the Braves cross country and track team, to be a family.
Be a Brave. Visit ottawa.edu.
Huge selection, the biggest savings, and the best customer service after you buy your vehicle. That's Bob Allen Ford, and now we're here in Ottawa, Kansas. The purchase experience is easy. Shop from the comfort of your home at Bob Allen Ford Ottawa and BobAllenFord.com. Select the inventory you would like to see, and we'll do the rest. From new F-150s to Explorers, Escapes, and Fusions, we've got you covered. Don't forget the pre-owned selection of low-mileage, under-warranty cars and trucks from all manufacturers. All Fords are created equal. It's your dealer that makes the difference. The difference is Bob Allen Ford here in Ottawa.
Get into the second half of the Pizza Time Hoop Talk Show here on 1220 and 103.7 FM. Bob Johnson sitting in the seat where if I was to fall off, I might hurt myself because I would hit a ledge. But hopefully that won't happen here tonight. Hey, no comments from the peanut gallery over there, all right? So, yeah, sure you did. A raucous crowd here tonight and mocking me. So, Coach, hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
It's good to have you on the program. I'm doing all right. And, man, that one last night, that one stung. And had an opportunity, but just not able to come away with the victory. And I think the biggest takeaway was the turnovers, giving friends way too many extra opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 27 turnovers will always cause some issues. But if you have 27 turnovers and say that you lose the game by one, you think that you can get at least one more stop, one more rebound, and that was the main thing that I discussed in the locker room was down the stretch, when we had the lead under 2 minutes or whatever it was. We had two stops, but we gave up two offensive rebounds that turned into buckets for friends, and I thought that was the difference, of the game. And we met our goals, throughout that game with getting to the free throw line, taking open shots, making open shots, and we competed really hard. And I was really proud of our young kids, definitely seeing them friends. Defense pressure for the first time. They really came out and competed extremely well.
Well, I think one of the things that it was good to see was you had some freshmen step up in the game last night and take some important minutes and do something with those minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Maddie McAvoy and Jennifer Anthony, hitting career highs for their freshman season, and I think both of them only had 15, 16 minutes or so, and Maddie had 26 points I think, and Jennifer had 18. So both of them are good little basketball players. They are little, but they have a big heart. They're very competitive, very athletic. And I think that's why they were pretty successful, against Friends, is just because of their athleticism. But those two just go out there and play basketball. Of course, they were still making freshman mistakes that, made a huge difference in that game. But they just were competing and just playing. And the experience part will come. But I was very proud of those two, and they did a great job of stepping up and making some big shots.
Well, Maddie really made the most of her minutes. It was like 14 minutes, and you get 26 points. 13 of those from the free throw line. She was really forcing the issue to get there to the line. Yeah,
I mean, most of the time she's in the right spot at the right time, and she knocked down those threes, which caused Friends to close out on her a lot harder, and we were stressing ball fakes, putting the ball on the floor and play through the contact. And after she knocked down those early threes, they were closing out on her extremely hard. So she did a great job of accepting that challenge of taking the ball through the pressure, and it turned into a lot of easy points there in the third quarter for her.
And you mentioned Jennifer Anthony. She played 18 minutes, averaged a point a minute out there, 7 of 10 from the free throw line, and 3 of 5 from the three-point arc. And that's one thing that the ladies, one of the struggles that they have had through the season is three-point shooting. Last night, 44% from behind the arc, and That's more like a Coach Tate team than what had been seen over maybe a little portion of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those two kids can make some threes. Jenna got down one or two, and I just stressed, the 2 days prior to this game that, you're going to get those looks. So do take it with confidence. As long as your feet are set, we were looking for a lot of inside, outside type kickouts to make those shots a lot easier. And they just did a great job of knocking them down. So, of course, we needed those made threes, and they came at key moments too. I think Kelsey, she hit a big one there in the fourth quarter too. That pulled us right back into that game towards the end.
Well, and you blew the season averages for scoring and giving up points in this ball game, but that was one of the surprises that the team was able to keep pace with Friends. 24-22 at the end of one. Ottawa tacks on 22 more in the second period, 27 in the third, and the fourth quarter was a little lighter on the scoring side. But those kind of outputs, if the ladies can continue to do so and maybe get a few more stops, you guys can make a little bit of noise here in the final stages of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're not too far away, and we discussed the standings here after the first half of the conference, and going through the teams that are right above us. Outside of the McPherson loss, we were definitely in all the games. So we're right there, and blowing the averages out of the water was one thing, and scoring. If we can continue to score points like that, that'd be great. But I wasn't, giving up 87 or what he did. I wasn't too happy with that for sure.
Well, I was going to say I can't imagine that there was probably cake and ice cream after that. But I mean, the offensive production afterwards though is fantastic though, and I guess sometimes you got to take the good with the bad, and that was something that there was positives with.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to see if we could open up things offensively. I didn't run a lot of set plays or anything of that nature. I just wanted them to go out there and play. Friends doesn't allow you to set up, too many set plays, and they had a little freedom to go just play a little basketball, and that's what they were able to do. So hopefully that builds a little confidence, on the offensive end for us. I think it will. And hopefully we can, increase our offense production and maintain our defensive production. And like you said, we'll be okay.
So that is something that you'll stick with for the rest of the year, is kind of just let them have a little more free reign?
Well, yeah, I mean, they do. And sometimes when we give it to them, then they don't want to do it, But no, I think, Friends defense will allow you to do that. I think against Sterling, we'll have the opportunities to make some shots and score some points too as well. So hopefully this game can spill over to this weekend, and we can at least get to the 60s and even the 70s would be great.
Well, and the ladies picked up a big victory last Saturday. Coming into the game last night, could you tell that maybe there was a boost in confidence after picking up that victory against Taylor?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even the practices after the Tabor win were more intense. They were more focused. The confidence was really, really high. We made a lot of shots in practice, so I wasn't surprised of the offensive output. When you do get a big win like that, finally, and you get it over the top team in the league at that moment, that will spill into your confidence, and it will help you go out there and play a little bit better.
And with that being said, obviously you start thinking about the stretch run, and we mentioned it with Coach Siebenthal after Saturday's game and next Wednesday's game. Home games are not going to be plentiful. You guys are going to really have to try to make it go on the road. So Saturday's game, Wednesday's game is really a big one for you guys. Yeah, this
whole home stretch was good. Crucial, and we're 1-1 right now, so we'd like to get these next two for sure, because we haven't been successful on the road yet. So I mean, bottom line, but so hopefully we can pick up these next 2 games, and then hopefully that'll spill into some confidence going on the road.
Well, and of course with the ladies, that's going to be a key thing is keeping that confidence up. You've got to, with the team that we've mentioned, yes, it is a young team, and at some point in time you can't use that continually use that as an excuse or anything, but anything you can get some confidence, that certainly helps out the cause.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody notices our youth. I told them from day one that we can't afford to use that as an excuse. If I put you out there on the floor, I'm going to expect you to go out there and perform at a high level. You're a college athlete, you're a college basketball player, and they have to live up to those expectations. And we've got to do some experience and learning on the fly.
And that's going to be important too, is to have that ability to be able to make those changes on the fly. And obviously, as a young player, there's a lot going at you, but to be able to have that confidence boost to know that, hey, I can make these adjustments and it's going to work out. That's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're my basketball mind is pretty large at times, and always looking to make our teams better. And I've actually stop increasing the playbook and really just focus on the stuff that we have currently in, and really try to make that more efficient so that the girls know all the options that we have in that, and just continue to build on that. Not something I like to do, because teams and coaches in this league do a really good job of scouting, but we're just going to have to make the better basketball play here down the stretch, and try not to increase our playbook.
Well, and obviously the playbook, you might not want to throw everything out, but sometimes simple is better, and sometimes teams can't handle the simple.
Yeah, that too. But since we have simplified things, I think the confidence is a little bit higher. We've been able to do a lot more breakdown drills, like we did here in practice, and just get some shooting in, after a tough out game. So simple is good. The stuff that we currently have in, we're currently executing. And I think as we get deeper here in the second half, once, if I can throw a wrinkle here and there on what we have, and maybe that can take us over the hill, and that's what we're doing. We don't do a great job of getting deep in our set plays, so that's what I'm focusing on right now. Teams will do really good at taking you option 1, option 2 away, so we're really trying to work on option 3 and 4.
I'm officially blind. I have to pull my glasses off to look at stuff. So as you talk about that, we'll lead into Sterling here in just a few minutes. But as I'm looking at the schedule, there's not been a whole lot of games where this team has been outclassed. And that's got to be a positive, even though things haven't gone that way. But, maybe the switch gets flipped here in the last part of the season, or it's something to build on for next year. But there seems to be a lot of positives here, and that maybe with that growth, some of these close games turn out to be victories. Maybe most of them turn out to be victories.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Just the confidence booster with getting Tabor, competing with friends here. Defensively, we're doing some really good things. And like I said, not a lot of young teams like to defend. But our defense has given us the opportunity to be in every single game. So, we feel still if we can just get, 3 or 4 more possessions going our way, I think that's a huge difference. And we got some kids that can put the ball in the hole. Jess King can get going. Jenna Kramer can knock down some shot. We got some freshmen, and they're starting to get a little bit more confidence on the offensive end. So hopefully that light does come on, and we get on a roll.
Well, as I take a look, it was great to see those young players step up, because, Jess, she finished with 8 points, but it obviously probably wasn't one of her better performances of the year. And, Leslie Spear ended up in double figures. She had some struggles here and there. So, you've got those two players too that if they're on, they're tough to beat. Now you add two more players that can go out and do to add to it. To me, it makes this team really dangerous coming up here for your opponents.
Yeah, I mean, if there's some teams that I would fear in the league, it would be us. Definitely from a defensive standpoint. Bethany does a really good job of guarding some teams out there. Bethel, even though they're at the bottom, they're showing that they're starting to play a little better defense. So teams that like to keep it low scoring and make you grind it out in the half court, man, you gotta take notice of that, because every night you're not going to shoot the ball perfectly well. So teams that can guard and make it tough for you could make it a long night.
We're going to take our final break of the evening right here. When we come back, we will pick Coach Tate's brain about this game with Sterling. These two teams, just like with the men, met back in November. Lady Braves, though, came up short by 3 points in that one. And we'll talk a little bit about the X's and O's of this one coming up on Saturday. As we mentioned, it'll be a 3 o'clock start for the ladies, 5 for the men. You'll hear both games here on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO. Our final break of the night, you're listening to the Pizza Time Hoop Talk Coaches Show here on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO.
It's a fact. Taste buds vary across the country. The things Texans find delicious, Californians go, ew, pizza's like that. But some pizza companies use the same recipe in Memphis they do in Seattle. This is Ottawa. And we have a place that makes pizza tuned to Ottawa taste buds. It's Pizza Time in historic downtown Ottawa. Been doing it since 1985 with the ingredients and recipes Ottawans love. See for yourself. Pizzas, sandwiches, wings, salad, desserts. It's all delicious and it's all Ottawa. 242 Time brings it right to your door. Oh, it's more fun to go in. It's Ottawa Pizza. It's pizza time.
The new Ottawa Care Clinic inside Cosentino's Price Chopper is there for you to treat minor illnesses and injuries, including abrasions or burns. No appointment is necessary to see one of the clinic's experienced and caring advanced registered nurse practitioners. The Ottawa Care Clinic inside Price Chopper, open Monday, Thursday, and Friday, 11 until 7. Saturday, 9 till 4. Sundays, 9 until 3. Call 785-214-4903.
What it means to be, you brave is to be yourself. What I've learned here is I've created memories with friends, and I was actually really comfortable being in my own skin here. Everybody has their own personality, and we're all unique here, just trying to live significant lives. And I think I'm going to leave here with an imprint that will last forever and that I can hold on to and look back at and laugh at and see that I not only learned something, but I created friendships and memories that will always stick with me. That's what it means to be brave, to be yourself.
Be a brave. Visit ottawa.edu.
Huge selection, the biggest savings, and the best customer service after you buy your vehicle. That's Bob Allen Ford, and now we're here in Ottawa, Kansas. The purchase experience is easy. Shop from the comfort of your home at Bob Allen Ford Ottawa and BobAllenFord.com. Select the inventory you would like to see, and we'll do the rest. From new F-150s to Explorers, Escapes, and Fusions, we've got you covered. Don't forget the pre-owned selection of low-mileage, under-warranty cars and trucks from all manufacturers. All Fords are created equal. It's your dealer that makes the difference. The difference is Bob Allen Ford here in Ottawa.
And we're back here on the Pizza Time Hoop Talk Coaches Show on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO. Hi, Melanie. How are you? Some of the great staff here at Pizza Time have taken care of everybody here tonight. So Arlie's here, Melanie's here. So we want to say thank you to them, who always do a great job of taking care of us. And you can always come down and join us. Plenty of specials, plenty of sports. And you get to see us on Thursday nights when we're doing the Hoop Talk Coaches Show, and Tuesday nights during football season for the Kent Kessinger Show, which, well, that's this fall. I can't go back in the past now. That was last year, so it's this fall now. So, well, Coach, you got a Sterling team that you played tough on the road in November. What did you take away from that game, and how can you use it into this game on Saturday?
Well, that was a game that I missed. So my grandfather passed away, and that day before that, and so I was back in Hannibal. So I did miss that game. So This would be my first time seeing Sterling in person, but been watching, film for other teams and got an opportunity to see them. And defensively, I remember us playing extremely well. Offensively, we definitely struggled down there. And, it's one of those things where they're playing extremely well offensively, and I think we can take advantage of some things that they do defensively. And I'm kind of anxious to see how this game goes, honestly. So two really good teams, two very competitive teams that are playing. Of course, everyone's playing for a lot, but now that we've been able to knock off Tabor, and they got a three-way tie up there up top, and they're one game behind Friends, and it could swing either way for them, and we need to climb up, and they need to climb up. So I think both teams are going to come out and play extremely hard.
Well, in that game back in November, it was Kyla Conley with 17 for Sterling. You had Jessica Prince with 12. Jordan Greer had 10. So I'm sure that those are going to be three players you're going to have to keep an eye on. For Ottawa, Jess King had 20 points, and now she was 10 of 14 from the floor. So I would assume trying to get it worked down low as much as possible is going to be a big key. Yeah, that was a big breakout game from Jess, and going down to Sterling and playing that well is always good for any Ottawa player. But with her size and her athleticism, she can do some really good things to get their front line. Jess Prince is their only main post player there in that starting group, and they bring some younger kids off the bench. From a size standpoint, we have that advantage. But they got the second leading scorer in the nation and a freshman in Conley, and she's playing off the charts. So we think that's going to be a huge matchup. If we can keep her below her average and contain all the other players and not let anyone else hurt us, then we should be in for a good night for our part. Well, it looks like in that first game they did a good job of she took 13 shots and only made 4, but the only problem is those 4 came from the three-point arc. So they're going to have to definitely work on the outside shot for her.
Yeah, and the thing with that is that going into that game, doing that scouting report, none of those kids really shot the three quite a bit. Conley started shooting that game, and I think we gave her a little confidence boost for the rest of the year, and now she's shooting the three extremely well. So that makes her a very tough matchup. She can knock down the three. She can get to the rim. She can cause some problems for your defense. She can get to the free throw line. Just a phenomenal scorer, for her first year of college basketball. She set out last year, so her to be able to evaluate things from the sideline, that has definitely paid off for her first year here in our conference.
Well, one good thing out of that game was the turnovers were bad last night, but in that game earlier in the year, the Braves had only 9. So it's possible for the ladies to really do a good job of hanging on to the ball. Yeah.
I mean, in our Tabor game, I think we only had 9 turnovers too. I mean, that's crazy where you can keep it below 10, and then some nights you can have 27, and then that depends on your opponent. But when we can take care of the ball and execute, we can really do some good things. I think we're really a tough matchup with some things that we do with Jess King and Leslie Spear, but that's going to be crucial not to give the Sterling extra possessions by us giving them unforced turnovers.
That is very true, and when you take a look at on the rebound side too, they did out rebound the Lady Braves in that one by 8, but and so that's extra possessions right there that maybe cost the Lady Braves the ball game too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're rebounding a little bit better since that first matchup, and what we're going to try to focus on is if we're missing shots, we've got to get our opportunities to get second shots. And with Sterling, they're a team that can score and make shots. So when they do miss, then we got to take advantage of our defensive rebounds and only give them one opportunity at the rim.
Well, and we did talk about the home schedule. The ladies are 5-3 on the home court, so they're doing a pretty good job of trying to take care of that home court advantage. And it's nice to not have to travel out to Sterling, because that's a bit of a trip.
Yeah, definitely during this time of the year. Most of the time, we get caught up in some snow and things. So the tide has turned on that, and they got to come out here this week. And it's going to be a little chilly, but hopefully the field house is pretty warm, and we're warm with it, and we're cooking. So.
Do you guys look forward to, especially now with the early afternoon starts on Saturday, is that something that you guys, that as a team like, and does that work to your advantage?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Saturday, when we first had the ability to do Saturday afternoon games, it felt like, college game day, is here and doing those early games. A lot of fans like that because it doesn't take up their whole day, So they get on the road, get here in the afternoon, and then they can go out with their family, go still catch a movie, and still have date night, So the afternoon games are huge, and our crowds have increased because of that. Most of our Saturday games you're going to see at 3 o'clock from here on out. Absolutely, if teams agree with it. So.
Well, it's probably nice to be able to get out on the court and not have to wait any longer than you have to.
Exactly. So we do early shoot around, get some pregame food in us, and then we're right back in the gym. Perfect schedule.
All right, so with this game on Saturday, ladies came up short earlier on against Sterling, but what do the Lady Braves have to do to get this victory at Wilson Fieldhouse Saturday afternoon?
Well, for one, I think just continue to compete at the intensity level that we currently are. With this young team, I think we're playing extremely hard. I think we're being fairly competitive. We do need to limit the mental toughness errors, which is at times some lack of focus, eliminate some unforced turnovers, and really, really key in on our defensive matchups and taking some pride in taking away the strengths of the Sterling players and just be aggressive on the offensive end. I think that was key in last night's game, and I think that's going to be key from here on out, is just being aggressive, get to the free throw line, and knock down open shots.
Do you find with your team, is it tough for them to be aggressive? Do you feel like that your team is naturally aggressive?
Certain players. I would say we're fairly aggressive on the defensive end. I mean, that's kind of been our forte, our scout from a defensive standpoint, that we're fairly physical. Being a young team, I don't think we're there yet. But Leslie's a pretty strong kid. Jess is pretty quick and athletic. Jenna's pretty strong. Caitlin will get after it. She's feisty and competitive. Kelsey still has some growth there. With Maddie, Jennifer, and Jaden, and Avery coming off, they're pretty feisty at times. So, so we'll see. I think when we choose to be aggressive, then we're aggressive. When we choose to be soft, we're fairly soft. So
it's just one of those deals where they're going to have to be aggressive for the full time out there.
Absolutely.
Well, that is, we're going to begin the wrap-up process here as we've got about 60 seconds left. You got any final words, Coach?
Nope. Stay warm, stay safe, and come out Saturday.
Yes, and one would imagine that it probably won't be too much warmer, so bundle up and come on out. And the field house is pretty warm when it needs to be.
When it needs to be. So it was fairly chilly on the floor yesterday, but you get in the stands and heat rises, and it's pretty hot up there for
sure. Reminder, hey, Friday night we do have Ottawa High basketball for you. We will start with about 5:40 with the Wise Guys Construction pregame show, 6 o'clock tip for the ladies. The men or the boys follow it at 7:30. And then on Saturday again, 3 o'clock start for the Lady Braves here on 1220 and 103.7 FM. The men will play at 5. And, of course, we'll have the Wise Guys Construction Ottawa University Braves pregame show before each of those. If you're able to make it out, go out to Wilson Fieldhouse. You're going to see some quality college basketball, and you might see a couple of victories come Saturday for the hometown Braves. It's going to wrap it up for us for this week. We'll talk to you next Thursday night from here at Pizza Time for the Pizza Time Hoop Talk Coaches Show on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO.
Information and entertainment in East Central Kansas. KOFO K279CS Ottawa, where keeping you informed comes first.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Brian Clark. The White House